time is 2 for you, and in today's tutorial, it happens to be the continuation of the course ENT204. And in today's tutorial, we'll be talking about the ethnicity of all right, of an entrepreneur, all right, and we'll be taking our bearing from this as we have been talking about the term entrepreneurship and all its intricacies. And today's, sorry about the call. I think this person is calling at actually at the wrong time. So in today's class, we're going to take our bearing from there, and with this being said, let's hop straight into it. Okay, so we have the course ENT204, ENT204, and then we have Ethno cultural factors. Okay, don't forget that this course is basically all about entrepreneurship and the process. Okay, I think I should switch this off. It's all about the process of entrepreneurship and the entrepreneur, all right, himself. And when I say himself, I'm being generic, all right, generic here. So now we have a common finding is that ethnicity, all right, or ethnic enterprise is often overrepresented in a small business environment. Now, when we say ethno, what are we referring to? Let's take it up from there. Ethno, what are we talking about when we say ethno? Now, let's take it one step at a time. Now, when we say ethno, we are simply talking about, all right, a race, all right, a group, okay, could be a race, could be a group, all right, or we are particular about a cultural group or a specific group of people. All right. So now, when we now use the word culture, we're talking about the way of life. All right. We're talking about their custom. We're talking about their what makes them, their personality, and the list goes on and on. Now, the point we are trying to establish here is in line with what we are talking about, which is entrepreneurship, okay, ethnocultural factors about an enterprise, okay. When we say ethnocultural factors about an enterprise, we are simply talking about those factors that places an enterprise at advantage, okay, those factors that places an enterprise at an advantage over other enterprises. Why? Maybe because that enterprise is from a foundation. All right. Maybe the enterprise is a member of the foundation of that industry. Now, let's take it like this. You know, there there are some enterprises that are known for certain things. You know, there are some let's not say enterprise, there are some specific group, okay, that are known for certain things. You know, when we talk about cocoa, all right, cocoa for making bonfita and other things. I want to talk about what else? What else can we want to talk about groundnuts? You know, groundnuts is from the north. We talk about cocoa from the west. All right. Talk about fishing and the likes. We're talking about Niger Delta access. Now, so let's say cocoa business now. A Yoruba man coming from the west who want to start such a business, you know that it will be an advantage compared to somebody at the east who want to start that same business. Why is that advantage? Because the west is known for cocoa, All right. So there's this assumption that okay, I can get the best cocoa product in the West. Even though I want to start a business there, I think I can get my suppliers here because this is what these people are known for. Now, let's take that here. Ethnocultural factors of an enterprise, according to what we have here, it says that it is often overrepresented in the small business sector. All right. That is, the member of some ethnocultural group or ethnocultural groups typically have what we call higher, okay, higher rate of business formation, business intelligence. Like I said earlier, so if you are coming from this angle, you know that these people, when it comes to cola nuts, they have higher rate of business, right? Strategy, business rate formation, business rate of ensuring that this business is a success because this is what they do. This is what they are born into. All right. So it is said that business formation and ownership than others. Okay. So now, however, the effect of culture on emperor, excuse me, on entrepreneurial tendencies is not completely clear because individuals from different cultural groups do not all become entrepreneurs for the same reasons. So, irrespective of enterprises or entrepreneurs or individuals from a particular group becoming an entrepreneur is not usually clear because you can't tell if he's actually doing that based on his passion or if he's doing that based on that is what he has grown into. Okay, so you never can tell, you never can identify why this enterprise has been because of these ethnocultural factors. Okay, just like we have it here, the Igbos in Nigeria have been known to have an achievement oriented culture that helps entrepreneurs persist until they success. All right, just like we all know that Igbos, in according to what we have kind of, or the society have tagged them, right? They are more business oriented, right, than education. Just like we have some other parts that are more education oriented than business, right? So, like it said that, like what we are being told that they are what we have an achievement oriented culture that helps entrepreneurs persist until they succeed. Okay, so we have that as that. So very quickly, let's move straight ahead to what the early concept of entrepreneurship. So what is the early concept of entrepreneurship? Now, entrepreneurship is one of the four mainstream factors of production. All right, it is one of the four. You know what we are talking about? Talking about the mainstream of production. We have the economics, we have the land, we have the labor, we have the capital, and the others. Now, the word entrepreneurship is derived from the 17th century. All right. The word entrepreneur has its origin, all right, in the 17th century. Okay. Traced down, all right, to the French word, all right, traced down to the French word entre, there, all right, entre, traced down to the French word entre, there, which refers to individuals that were undertakers, right? Those that undertook, right? Undertakers, under those that undertook. Okay. Now they were referred to as undertakers, those that undertook the risks of what? The new enterprise. Now they were contractors who bore the risks of profit, right? These individuals were seen then, speaking of the early concept of entrepreneur, these individuals were seen as risk takers. Okay, people that undertakes, they don't really care much about the risk, all right, profit or loss. Now, many early entrepreneurs were soldiers of fortune. Okay, soldiers, they are so resolute about fortune making. All right, they are soldiers of fortune, adventurers. They were seen as adventurers, builders, merchants, all right, and the likes. Okay. Now, early reference to entrepreneurial in the 14th century spoke about the tax contractors and individuals who paid a what first sum of money to the government for license of ta- um, for the license to collect taxes in their region. What we're talking about here basically is that in 19th century, entrepreneurs were the captains of industry. Now, in the we've talked about the 17th century now. Take note, we talked about the 14th century as well, and now we are in the 19th century. Now, in the earliest stage, okay, entrepreneurs were known as undertakers, those individuals that undertook. In the 17th century, the word, all right, in the 14th century, they were not yet called entrepreneurs or there's nothing like entrepreneurship, all right. Individuals that were fortune, soldiers of fortune, they were just seen as soldiers of fortune, not entrepreneurs. Right. So now in the 17th century, then the word was coined out from the French word entrepreneur. Then in the 19th century, they will now have entrepreneurs as captains of industry. All right. 19th century entrepreneurs as what? Captain of industries. Now, they were also seen as the risk takers, the decision makers, individuals who aspire to, all right, to acquire wealth and who gather and manage resources to create new enterprises. All right, so you can see all these titles given to entrepreneurs in the 19th century. Now, notably, early French, British, and Austral economists wrote enthusiastically about entrepreneurs as change agents. All right. So notably, early French, British, and Austrian economists, all right, wrote about entrepreneurs as what were referred to as change agents. Why? All right. Change agents of progressive economies. We'll get to know why in a jiffy. Now, Richard Cantillon, a French economist, all right, was credited with giving the concept of entrepreneurship a central role in the economy. Please let's take note of that. Okay, so now we have the likes of Richard, okay, Richard Cantillon, okay, Richard and all right, Richard Cantillon, okay, French economists, okay, French economist was credited with giving the concept of entrepreneurship a central role. All right, entrepreneurship was central role in economics. A critical point in Cantillon's arguments was that entrepreneurs consciously, okay, consciously make decisions about resource allocation. And don't forget, oh, sorry, yeah. I realized my microphone was down, so I just had to switch it very quickly. Can we hear me now? Please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me now, please. Am I audible enough? Awesome. Okay, Miss Regina says no sound. Awesome. Thank you very much, ma'am. Okay, awesome. Now let's continue. Now, Cantillons, he made a critical point. Thank you very much for that. He made a critical point. He said that entrepreneurs consciously makes decision about resource allocation. All right, that was cited by O'Neill in 1989. Now, if you talk about economics, we are simply talking about how to effectively allocate and share these scarce resources. All right. So if entrepreneurs do not, don't forget, they take decisions, they make decisions, critical ones, even though the resources is not so much, but out of that little, they are able to spread resources across several things to see that this business succeeds. Okay, so if you are making comparison between entrepreneurs and economists, right, they are very similar, right, in what they do. So if you say, if according to countless arguments, is very much 100% on point. Adam Smith as well spoke of enterprise, all right, in his book called The Wealth of Nations. He wrote that in 1976, all right. So he said that there are individuals who undertake formation and organization for commercial purpose, which he was referring to as the entrepreneurs. Okay, but he did his own through, all right, the publishing of his book Wealth of Nations in 1976. Now, as well, Smith also said something. Smith said that entrepreneurs react, all right, they are what? Economic agents who transform demand into supply. All right, they are economic agents. Are we together? According to Smith, all right, economic agents. Okay, economic agents who transforms demand into supply. Wonderful. You know, they are there to provide solutions to problem, supply goods and services to, right, ensure satisfaction. Okay. Now, in 1884, I beg your pardon, in 1848, British economist John Stuart, all right, he elaborated on this necessity of entrepreneurship as well in the private enterprise. Okay. Now, he said, okay, the need for entry and the private sector to also encourage, when we talk about the private sector now encouraging entrepreneurship, it's more like the kind of intrapreneurship. Don't forget, we said something about the entrepreneurs as people that work in an organization, all right, that realize an opportunity, something that they can capitalize on to help the organization get or improve its products or services, then propose to the organization and they get the approval and begin to work on that. So that is what John is saying here. that the entrepreneurship in private enterprises should also be what? Should be a necessity in order to improve that sector as well. Okay, so let's take a step further. So now let's talk about the modern. All right, let's talk about the modern concept of entrepreneurship. Modern concept of entrepreneurship. Now, according to Bailey, in almost all of the definitions of entrepreneurship, there is agreement that we are talking about a kind of behavior that includes initiative, all right, initiative thinking, all right, organized and reorganizing of social and economic mechanism to turn resources and situation towards practical account and acceptance of risks of failure. Okay, modern concept of entrepreneurship, according to, all right, Bailey, said everything we have been talking about this third time can be categorized into three. All right, initiative taking, you have to use your initiative all the time. Conversion, all right, of resources into what? Conversion of, okay, it says here, turn resources and situation to practical account. Okay, convert resources, all right, convert resources to reality, all right, practical account. Okay, and thirdly, acceptance of risk of failure. Acceptance of risks of failure. Definitely, as an entrepreneur, it's the reality. You have to accept the fact that the business can fail and it can as well be successful. All right. So it's a 50-50. All right. The chances are 50-50. Now, entrepreneurship is a process of what? Speaking about the modern concept, is a process of creating something new, all right, with value, something new, creating something new, creating something new, not just new, but valuable. All right. The beauty is not in the newness, but it's in the value. Something you have created that is new is offering. All right. By okay, something new with value by devoting the necessary time and effort, summing up the accompanying financial. Okay, basically, it's what it is: creating something new with value. Okay. Now about this, entrepreneurship involves the creation process. Okay, creation creation process. So we have the creation has to have value, like I said earlier, the entrepreneur and value to the audience. Okay, definitely anything you are creating should be of value. That's what it requires. All right, value is the priority. Now, okay, so we have that as that. So we also have that assuming the necessary risks is another important part. So we have assuming what we call necessary risk. Okay, very, very important. You need to bear in mind that the risks are actually going to confront you, and you do as well need to confront the risk. All right. These risks take a variety of forms, but these risks depend on the field of effort of the entrepreneur. All right. It is usually centered around finances, all right, psychological and social area. Right. The risks are usually all right around the finances, the psychological, and the social area. And lastly, the final part of this definition involves the reward. All right. So there's a creation process, there's a risk assuming process, and there's also a reward. All right. There's a reward whereby at the end of it all, if the entrepreneur can break through, then there's a reward for the entrepreneur. So we have that as that. So we're going to call it wrap here for today. Okay, and I'm going to give us an assignment. All right, we are expected to say a thing or two about what it takes to become an entrepreneur. So we are going to, in our own words, we are going to explain everything we've been able to gather so far. We are going to explain what it takes, okay, in not less than 200 words. We're going to explain what it takes to be, all right, an entrepreneur. So we have assignment with not less than 200 words. Explain in detail what it okay what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Okay, so we have that as that. Thank you very much, everyone. I believe you've been able to get something into this class. Please let's do well to keep our notes updated and send them to their appropriate quarters. And let's do well to also attend to every assignment we have been given. Right? It's strategic, it's intentional, and it's deliberate. All right. And what we are after is to ensure that you are following, all right, and make this a part of you. This is the intention. When it becomes part of you, it becomes another lifestyle. If you miss class a day, you feel there's something is not right, right? So it becomes a part of you, and it's a system already. You are used to it. So this is what it is basically. So thank you very much, everyone. You have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing all the subsequent tutorials. Bye for now.